Hi, it's Barbara. Welcome to second grade Tidbits. You can access the full grade 2 Tidbits deck using the bit.ly G2 Tidbits 25. The slides include my detailed notes and links to all the resources discussed.
Today, we are going to break down modules for the week of November 24th and the week of December 1st.
During the week of November 24th, students transition to Module 2, Unit 2. In this new unit, students take on the role of paleontologist and learn about different kinds of fossils, the process of fossilization, and how fossils can teach us about how the Earth has changed over time. For the week of December 1st, in lessons 3 through 6, students engage in a close read aloud of the text fossils in support of RI21, RI22, RI24, RI25, and RI26. Students also practice using strategies to determine the meaning of unfamiliar words. The culminating activity in Lesson 7 requires students to synthesize the steps of fossilization in writing with W26. This week, we will unpack RI25 to see how it is critical in order for students to access complex informational text. RI25 asks students to know and use various text features to locate key facts or information in a text efficiently. Without the context of a task, RI25 is known as a DOK Level 2 Skills and Concepts. When students master text features, they unlock all other informational reading standards, making it a gateway skill. On the screen, you can see some of the ways mastering the skill of using text features unlocks other reading standards for students. For example, headings reveal main topics instantly, while subheadings show a paragraph focus. This helps students quickly identify the main topic.
Let's look at some teacher and student actions for RI25.
It's important to note that we want students to use text features, not just be able to name and identify them. The aligned learning target in the Lesson 3 narrative is I can use text features to learn more about fossils. Let's take a closer look at work time A in the close read aloud. The close read aloud includes explicit instruction in using text features by modeling and thinking aloud. For students to process and practice, they will need pauses to think and opportunities to talk to a partner. The first question of the close read aloud asks students, what do you notice about the words on these pages? There are several words in different fonts for students to notice and share. Your teach point here is big, colorful words or words in boxes can help us understand what we're reading. Next, the teacher reminds students that the heading tells the reader what the paragraph is about. You don't have to guess. The question posed by the teacher is, if the heading is digging up fossils, what do you think this page will be about? Of course, we want students to respond with something close to the main topic, like how paleontologists dig up fossils. Next, the teacher asks students to study the photograph and caption. Then you can ask what sentence from the paragraph might be explained by the caption and the photograph. This question pushes students to connect the text with the text features rather than think of them as isolated ideas. Your teach point here is the picture and captions work with the text to help the reader understand what the author is trying to explain. Here, the picture and caption work with the text to help us understand what excavate means. When assessing RI25 and the standards it supports, use your RI checklist. Designate a time during each close read session to observe students using text features in support of other RI standards. This could be a strategic turn and talk. Think to yourself, do students use text features to identify the main topic? Answer 5W questions when referencing the text. Determine the meaning of unfamiliar words. This information will help you to adjust instruction leading up to the unit assessment. When we unpacked the standard, we named RI25 as a gateway skill that unlocks other informational reading standards for students. This means that using text features can be considered a just-in-time support as students work on other standards. If students have difficulty referencing the text when practicing answering questions, identifying the main topic, or defining words with different strategies, make sure you are providing students with plenty of modeling and practice time using, not naming, text features. Thank you for joining me for this week's Module Tidbit. See you back next week.
Buried deep, bold asleep under sand and clay. Millions of years, layers stacking, that's the fossil way. Harder than a diamond, pressure builds tight. Turns them into stone, preserved just right. Shells